أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Just want to give the salams again to everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And as always, we seek refuge, we seek the protection, the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask that He give His barakah, His blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we ask Allah, oh Allah, do not lay a burden upon us that we cannot handle. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the Muslims here and bless the Muslims everywhere on this planet, because we are everywhere, literally. Alhamdulillah, that's a blessing, right? We are all over the globe. And I hope that you'll visit here, because some of you are traveling. I hope that you'll visit here, not just to Orlando, but to this particular masjid. Will be one where you find hospitality, one where you find good company, one where you find the salam, the peace that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give. Today's subject is twofold for me today, as a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who happens to be an imam in these United States of America, here in the city of Orlando. That particular need for this topic to be really focused upon, because as an observer, I am looking at the Muslim community. I'm looking at the Muslim community in Central Florida, southern part of the United States, all these different sectionals, areas in the United States of America. And what I have been taught to look for, among many other things, is qualities for leadership in men. Qualities in leadership. Qualities of leadership in men. And not that women are not, cannot lead, won't lead, because usually if the man is not on his job, the woman just goes right out front and takes the lead and handles whatever business needs to be done. Usually that happens. When I'm talking about Quranic leadership and the need for the younger brothers, everybody really, but especially the younger brothers, to step up to the plate and be honest with themselves and say, you know, I just been, you know, slipping, sliding, peeping, and hiding, because I already know my responsibility, and I already know the qualities that Allah has put into me. This is what some of the younger people, they're saying these things, but they're not saying them out loud. Those people that are qualified to step into these, you know, these little areas where they know that they can push the community. Some of you are satisfied, and I have to say you're too satisfied with your 8-hour jobs, and 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. You're too satisfied. You won't go outside of that figure-8 syndrome. You go to work, go back home, go to Publix, that's one of our local stores, Publix, and then go back home, maybe go to a movie or something, and chill out in the United States of America. That's not good for a young man. We are, alhamdulillah, in these United States of America, the extension of the Ummah of Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are an extension of his community. We are all over the globe. That's the reason why it's called Ummah. It is a community, but not as we view community, block by block, community store, then many more people. It would be good, it would be ideal. And some places in the United States do that. But what I'm talking about is that we are to be consistently aware that we are global, that our community is all over this globe. And we should be aware that we are part and parcel, we are an element as men in this big ummah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this responsibility to maintain and protect and maintain this ummah, this community. But if the whims and sparkles and fantasies of the world has taken our men away from the responsibility of first being a man, then the future generations for us as Muslims is not going anywhere, to say the least. It's not going anywhere. Why? Because the leadership is not coming into its own to be wanting to be part of a thriving community. I'm talking about a thriving community, not a laid-back community, not a community where, you know, the trinkets of the world, you know, nice watch, nice shoes, nice suits, nice home, these things, alhamdulillah, bears have homes. Bears have homes. Yeah, squirrels got nice little condominiums up in the trees. Yeah, they you watch them, they have a good time. Their life is wonderful. You know? Yeah. But our responsibility on our watch is to see what God said. God, what did you say to me? And God, Allah is speaking in the Quran. You want to speak to God? Read the Quran. That's who's speaking there. People say, well, I need the help of God. Read the Quran. He's speaking there. He's giving the guidance from that. So here, I was looking for this verse earlier, and here it is. I already had it up here. Alhamdulillah. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah says, أَفَلَا يَتَّدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ وَلَوْ جَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. And Allah is asking the question, and He gave this revelation to our Prophet Muhammad upon his heart, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he related to the people, because people are contemplating a lot of things. You know, people are surrounded by a lot of things. You know, that cause them to be distracted from what Allah wants us to be attracted to. So don't be distracted from what Allah wants you to be attracted to, and that is His kalam. And if we are not attracted to His words, then we're going to be distracted from His words, and other things are going to eclipse our interest. So if our interest for the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eclipsed, meaning something is going to come in front of your interest in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will not be the type of community that we possibly could be potentially. So pilot, you're listening. I know you're listening. Please listen. Don't become comfortable just going to work, finding a little side job, or going to school, coming home, passing the grade, you know, and that's it. Don't do that. We just finished, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, Eid al-Adha. And this is the Eid of sacrifice. And I've mentioned before, and I'll say it quickly again, if we, all brothers especially, are not willing to become uneasy just a little bit, come out of our comfort zone a little bit, to come into a set of circumstances that will help you move your family ahead, move your community ahead in progression, to progress. And you're uncomfortable. Why? Because now you know the true feeling of a sacrifice. To sacrifice time, money, yes, but time. Sacrifice time to do what? Know your deen. To know your religion. And I do believe that sometimes people are a little taken aback when they are expected to be in a responsible situation, but they don't have the qualifications for that situation. It may be a job, you know what I'm saying? They want that job, but the qualifications for that job demands that they have a certain amount of education in that area. So for us as Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ? Do they not consider the Quran? Do they not consider the Quran more than they consider all of these things that has their attention? Before the family, there is Allah. You hear that? Before family, I have to pay close attention to Allah so that I can know how to lead my family. Before the family, there is Allah. Brothers, before your wife, there is Allah. Sisters, before your husband, there is Allah. This is the process. This is how it's supposed to go. And this concept or this way of thinking will always keep your relationships fresh, because you considered God, you consider Allah first. So Allah, He's pleased when He sees His servant contemplating on what He has said in the Quran, thinking about and discussing what He has said in the Quran, sharing it with family, sharing it with brother, this person. So why? Because this is the design for the human soul on earth. The Quran is the design. It is the blueprint from the architect. Allah is the architect. He is the creator, the one that designed our bodies, our minds, our souls, our spirit. And He has given us the information on how to operate it. You understand what I'm saying? He has given us instruction on how to operate this design. So Allah is basically telling the prophet, ask them this. Ask them this. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ? Do they not consider the Quran? For real? Not for play? Islam is not a fad? It's not just something that, this is hip, this is cool, this is nice, this is cool to do. No. This is a lifestyle. This is the way we should be conducting our lives, living the life. And look at the community like it's maybe 2-3 flowers at first, But those flowers are nurtured, they're rich, their luster, their beauty is at their peak. That's the way the community should be. And then the next time you look around, that garden, alhamdulillah, has flourished and is flourishing. The intellects of the people, the spirits of the people, you see? And that's the reason why when we have the Jum'ah here, and I see a certain number of people here, I just have to be honest with you. I'm not just looking at you. You know, this recording these videos and all the modern technology, it takes this all around the world. This is going all around the world. This is not in just 545 West Central Boulevard. So, as I said before, you should go to places where you feel comfortable coming in there and praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't come to a place that you feel uncomfortable. Go to a place that you know, my soul, I can rest here. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ. Had it been from other than Allah, they would surely have found much to deny. Translated here, it says much discrepancy. But this is from Allah, so they can look at it, they can look at the Quran, they do it all the time. Page to page, analyzing things and scrutinizing and looking at the Quran and saying, God said this. I said, yeah, that's right. God did say that. Allah did say that. Well, what about this? Oh, yeah, well, alhamdulillah, yeah, that's good. He did say that. And then when it is explained, when you explain it to people, they say, oh, okay, I understand now the reason why God said that. Had it not been for other than Allah, it been from Allah alone, they would have surely found much discrepancy. And so this word yatadabbaru, it means to think about, to consider it. This is also, brothers, in the present future tense, and it's really saying, have they not been considering, not considered, past tense, why do they not be considering? That means all the time, not past tense. Come back to the Quran. So we have asked God, we have asked Allah, and I'll mention this and then I'll sit down for the pause and get back up. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Just talking in plain language. In Al-Fatiha, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we ask Allah, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. You're translating that because you know what it is, right? Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. الصلاة والسلام على خير المرسل محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So in order to have leadership, there has to be education. You know, some people, they do things just to attract people. You know, just look at me. Well, why you do that? I want somebody to see me. And this is one of the main problems. I can speak like this because I am an African American. There's people here from all over the world. All over the world. And we enjoy your company, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, as Muslims. But I think this is like a thumb drive, or thumbnail thimble kind of a test, because I see it in my own community. Members of my community, because of history, and some not because of history, because they had plenty of time to recover. They just like what they do, you know. They like what they do. They want to be somebody, so they just do stuff, just do anything, just to attract somebody. Go down the street, and the others has caught on to this epidemic. Go down the street, stop at the red light, turn the music up as high as it'll go. Just boom, 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 boom. Why is he doing that for? Why? Because there is an identity crisis. You remember the Imam taught about this. It's identity. We don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. And it's just like many Muslims, many other people come from other places. They see that, man, that's bad. That's hip. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the hip-hop in Arabic. Yeah, they got it, right? I'm going to get the hip-hop in Arabic, and I'm going to buy me a Lamborghini, and I'm going to drive through the streets of Orlando, over on International Drive. And when I come to a red light, I'm going to turn that music up so high, everybody's going to be looking at me. Look at me, look at me, see me, see me. What's that about? It's not about anything, but the fact of the matter is, people are losing their true identity. That's what the problem is there. And then those more seasoned Muslims see this other Muslim driving down the street doing this stuff, just shake their head. Our elders, they be looking at some of our people. Now this person has come to America and become a fool. I didn't raise that boy like that. I didn't raise those children like that. You see? So there's many things that we could talk about, but my main interest right now is to urge you, you younger brothers, come into the Quran and get into the Quran. And wherever you are in your knowledge of the Arabiya or the Arabic, don't be afraid of it. You learn how to swim. You were afraid of the water, some of you. But you got in, didn't you? You learned how to swim, didn't you? Same way with the waters of the Quran, alhamdulillah. Don't be afraid of the Arabic. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't be afraid to learn a few vocabulary words, learn some of the short surah, and get into it. See what Allah is saying, and then take it to heart. Don't take it here alone, you see. This is a big mistake. I want to memorize the Quran, but I don't want to understand the Quran. I want to memorize the syllables or the phonetics, but I don't know what it means. So when you're saying Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you don't know what you're saying. And some of those who knew what they were saying, they don't know what they're saying these days because of all of the sensation and entertainment has taken over their senses, even though they were born in the deen. And I'm not talking about the translation alone, I'm talking about the hikmah of the translation. The wisdom of the translation. What does this do for my soul? What does this do for my heart? What does this do for my spirit? It transforms you. Because why? This message is from heaven. I repeat, the message of the Quran is from Jannah, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are from Jannah. The message is from Jannah. So the message was given to Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu for you and your soul. So here, that message that's coming from the Jannah should be accepted by your soul. You shouldn't reject it because of a lifestyle. So I don't want the Quran like that. Yeah, you should want what came from heaven to suit the fabric or the body of your soul. Just like you buy a suit to fit your physical body, the Quran is the suit that fits your soul perfectly. Because the designer that designed you also sent us the design of the Quran to fit the soul. La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu. So brothers, you leaders, young leaders, that's coming up here, inshallah, let's say inshallah. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Come up to the plate. Everybody, you don't have to be an imam, an amir, or this or that. You don't have to be a scholar in a religion. Just know your religion. So that when you go and you travel and you go different places, you're able to be comfortable in your own self. Be able to lead the prayer if necessary. You don't have to be an imam. You can be a bank president and be an imam. You don't have to be 24/7 imam. No, imam means leader, to lead the prayer. That's what imam means. You see? But in these days, the role of the imam has become bigger because you have to deal with the infrastructure of a city, of a society that does not know the religion of Islam. So we have to know more about our deen. Know more about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I'm going to fast forward. Now watch this. I'm going to take a risk. Top 10 problems facing America. I Googled this, so you can Google and see the same thing, but except for one thing at the top. Number 1, top 10 problems facing America. They didn't have it here, but I put it here. Donald Trump. I put 0, 1, minus 0. One of the biggest problems for the United States of America is that you don't see leadership reflecting the love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by whatever name they may call him by. Whatever name you call Allah by, then rely upon that one. La ilaha illallah Muhammad. So there's not a big difference between how the Christians see God and the Yahud sees God. It's not a big difference, except for a group of them see him as 3. Most of the original Christians, all of the original Christians, believed in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know the Jews, the Yahud, they believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you also know when you study the history, the Jews, the Yahud, and the Muslims are cousins. You forget that. The Jews and the Muslims are cousins. They're related to each other. I talked to a person that I was surprised, maybe 7 years ago, I didn't know this, but you know, people in that West Bank area, subhanallah, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, who are Muslims today, their ancestors were Yahud, were Jews that converted to Islam, to Al-Islam, many of them. So you want to know why? When the Palestinians come to America, they be the first one to get into business because they have that same nature. Those Jews can get that money and those Palestinians can get that money, buddy. Okay? But these are cousins, okay, that are having this family feud, like, and I know some of you not from here, but there's a story in the, I guess it's central part of the United States called, of the Hatfields and the McCoys. It's old ancient folklore where the Hatfields, these are people that live in the central part of the United States or somewhere in the mountainous area, somewhere. They got in a feud for I think 20, 30 years. And you know what they were fighting over? Somebody had taken one of their khanzir, one of their hogs, and they got into a family feud for 20 years or more. Shooting across the mountain, pow! Another shooting, pow! They want to marry each other, they can't marry each other. Same thing happening. But believe me, at the end of the day, listen, Allah says, when the light of the sun is blown out, when the light of the sun is blown out, and the mountains are crumbled, pounded to powder, because it's coming, that time is coming. It may be 100 years from now. It may be 2,000 years from now. But that time is coming. And those souls that has lived here on this earth, they are not gone somewhere that they can't be found by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will bring up every soul that has ever lived. And He's going to balance the scales. And Allah said, وَمَا يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَا يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. And every atom's weight of good will be put on the scale, your scale, one by one. Nobody can you come get on my scale with me? No! You have to get your scale and you have to be on your scale before Allah, and everyone will be in Qiyam. So listen, in my closing, I said this here before, but I want you to get a good grip of what's going on, the dynamic of what's going on. Why do you come to Jumah every Friday? Huh? Because Allah ordered it, right? It's an amr, it's a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Okay, this is kind of like a testing ground of the final standing. And that's not here, that's over there, that's on the other side. Yawmul Qiyamah, the day of standing. So what is this position called when we stand up? Qiyam. But there's going to be a final one of these, where everybody that was ever born, ever come across the threshold of mama's womb, all of them, all of us are going to be standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our deeds are going to be weighed on the scales of adl, justice. So think about what you're doing. So number one, I said -0. Number one, terrorism. Now, okay. Imam, what are you talking about? I'm talking about homegrown terrorism. I'm not talking about terrorism from some so-called Muslims. I'm talking about homegrown. You know what happened in El Paso just recently, and a couple of other places. This is terrorism. Not people committing crimes, they're committing crimes. What? This is terrorism. Number two, all types of violence. Number three, immorality. Number four, drugs. Number five, different types of corruption. Number six, sexual abuse and human trafficking. Look what your brothers, young brothers, look what you're faced with. How are you going to help? How are you going to help solve the problem inside of the community? You just going to sit idly by and say, man, I got to pick up my check at 4 o'clock. You know, you're going to have to hurry up, Imam. Don't be that way. We're looking for men, kind of like the Marines or the Army, kind of like. We just need a few good educators, a few good knowledgeable people, a few good people that have their head on straight, that have a sensitivity for mama, a sensitivity for daddy, sensitivity for the youngest child, the unborn babies. You have to have a sensitivity for everyone, every member of your community. You have to have knowledge and pray to Allah that Allah protects us and guides us. That's what a man is. That's how a man takes care of his business. The woman, she appreciates it, but if the business is not taken care of, like I said earlier, she's going to go out and take care of it and put you to shame because you're not living up to your manhood. So I'm humbly asking you, step up to me. Talk to me. You want to become an intricate part or pillar in this community and not somebody that's just laid back and watch the imam wail and talk loud and holler on Friday. Don't be that way. Be a person that is a doer and not just a watcher. Number 7, illicit types of crazy music. Number 8, the media, and we don't have to get into that. These are all subjects. Number 9, lack of respect for other countries. You're the big guy on the block this year. Watch what happens in a couple of 2 or 3 years. Number 10, educational system failing. I'm talking about the public educational system, and some of the Islamic educational systems are failing because, why, Imam? Because there exists in some of our Islamic schools, if you don't look right, they don't want you in there. If the texture of your hair, of your girl, of your baby is not right, the other children are going to tell them what their mama and their daddy said at home about you with your nappy head. So where is the true brotherhood? Where is the true sisterhood? We have to stamp it out, brothers and sisters, and then use that example that Allah gave us. Who is that? Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When I just think about Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I can only imagine, or you can only imagine what he had to go through. Because he had a nation of immigrants too. Everybody that's in this nation came from somewhere. What? You want to go back home? Go back home. Well, you go back home too. Did you pack your clothes? From the mountains. Get your gear. You know what to pack. Even the native Indian, they call it native Indian. They're from somewhere else too. If you look at the history far enough, go back into the ice ages. People got froze out of a certain place. They had to go to another place, and they came back. Their skin was a little light. You know, when you stay out of the sun, your skin gets kind of light. You don't have to get that cream that you've been trying to use to make yourself lighter. It's prevalent. Those are long conversations, but I want to strike your conscience. And I'm not ashamed to say these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ashamed to say these things. What I got to be ashamed of? I have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Allah is going to charge you, going to ask me, did you know the truth? I'm going to say, yes, Allah, yeah, Allah. Why didn't you tell it then? That's the question I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of any of you. I respect you and everything, but I have to tell the truth. And other leaders in the world who skate around, they ski around these serious issues that's facing the Muslim community. We don't have time to try to talk about the Jews and talk about the Christians. We don't have time for that. That's not our thing. Rasulullah ﷺ didn't do that. He didn't talk about people like that. Look into your own world, your own community, and see how you can shore up those things that need to be made better. And then you will be like that garden that we talked about earlier in the Khutbah. See 2 or 3 nice healthy flowers, 10, 15 nice healthy flowers. Say, where are those people going? Oh, they're going to Jumah. Man, they really look like they're going to heaven. They're walking in that place, they look like they're going to heaven. And that's what some people have said about the Muslims. They're dressed so neatly, especially they say the women. And the men too, when they really, are into their element, they look like they're anticipating seeing God. And that's what we anticipate here at these places, at the Masjid in the United States and around the world. We anticipate meeting God, meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we ask Allah, oh Allah, accept this Jummah. Oh Allah, accept this prayer, accept our du'as, inshallah, and protect this community from here until the life after. Ameen. Please prepare for